many people, the word finance brings up feelings of stress or confusion, but our next guest sees it differently. She views money not as a burden, but as a tool for ultimate personal freedom. As the founder of Financial Freedom Seminars, Luminita Ispas has helped countless individuals break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and start building a legacy of independence. She's a strategist, an educator, and a champion for your financial future. Please welcome Luminita Ispas. And Luminita, your brand is built on the idea of financial freedom seminars. How do you define freedom?
That's such a great question. To me, freedom is not complete unless you have the financial whereabouts to live the life you dream of. When I came in the United States, I was an immigrant with $200 in my pocket. And I remember dreaming to go to the opera, to travel, to have time to discover the world. However, living paycheck to paycheck didn't afford me that. So I realized having the freedom to go out of the country, to have a passport that allows me to get in another country, but not having the money, or even to not having money to go to the opera to buy an extra ticket, that was not real freedom. Because if you cannot afford to do what you want to do, then how is that complete freedom in this world, right? So to me, freedom is affording the life you want, not necessarily first class airplane tickets or having a yacht. I'm talking about living the life on your terms.
And how does one do that?
Great question. Again, because I needed to discover it for myself, I created this seminar that teach a strategy and a system of accumulating a number of properties through house hacking. You might have heard of this term. House hacking meaning taking mortgages, loans with a very low down payment as owner-occupant, and then after living in the property for at least a year, converting them to investment property. Now, what's interesting about real estate investment, they make people money 5 ways compared to any other investment. And the barrier of getting into real estate investment is low because the down payment can be as low as 3.5% down payment with an FHA loan, 5% down payment with a conventional loan, or 0 down payment with a VA loan. And this loan can be accessed through, again, buying properties with as owner-occupant.
Now, in your seminars, you talk about the financial freedom blueprint. What is the very first pillar someone has to get right before they can even think about investing or even retiring?
Such a great question. I've been teaching seminars for over 20 years, and I used to start straight to real estate strategy. And then I discovered that when I was talking about leverage, about tax deductions, about down payment, people were zoning out. And I had the opportunity to ask individual people, what was stopping them from investing. And I realized that many people do not even have a budget. They do not know how to save. They do not understand simple words like leverage or how tax deductions work or what are retirement accounts. So now the first step is usually going through financial literacy. So pretty much simple about how to create a little budget, how to save as little as $50 a month to just get started, how to open up retirement accounts. And you might wonder, why am I teaching them about opening up retirement accounts when this is about real estate investment? Well, that's an extra source of income in the future, and it counts as reserves for real estate purchases. Also, when some type of retirement funds like 401k, IRAs, they allow for extra tax deduction. So the future buyers, the future real estate investors get to save more of their money upfront for a down payment.
There are so many people, like we talked about in the beginning, that live paycheck to paycheck. But what is that aha moment that you see in your students during one of your sessions. What's the most common mental block that people have about money and saving?
So there are a couple, right? So some of them are emotional, depending on how they grew up. If they believe that it's not enough money for them, or they believe they are part of a class in society that will never get ahead because their parents didn't get ahead, because their grandparents get ahead. So one of it is mental, and the mental part is extremely important, because no matter how much money they make, if they spend it all or they even get in more debt, and they don't know how to save, they will never grow to be financially free. So we start with the mental block. And then next step is, like I said, it's just the simple steps, like creating a budget, discovering for themselves how much money they can save. The third, it's showing them examples of people like themselves that were able to become financially free, and some of them retire in their 30s. Because again, by building a small portfolio, 3 properties, let's say 2, and I've had people retiring with 2 properties, 2 or 3 properties, 3 4-unit buildings, they give them cash flow and tax deduction. They were able to cover their expenses and be able to move forward, to get over their mental barrier. And to know that they can cover their expenses, I always create 3 goals for them. So I give them like I said, 3 numbers. So 3 financial numbers. One is financial security. That means the absolute minimum amount of money they have to save to survive. So imagine we are on March 15, 2020. The whole world is locked down. Nobody's spending money, right? We just spend money to survive. So the rent or mortgage, utilities, insurances, and minimum payments on our credit cards. Nothing else, because we can't get out of the house. So I start there with them. I said, if you have to get down, to bunker down, to buy no clothes, buy nothing, how much money do you need to have to just survive? And then I round it up usually to the next 500 or 1,000. So I will say, make it 1,500, 2,000, 25, 3,000, something that's small. That's the first number you really want to reach, because that will give you a mental freedom. When you realize that you are never, you don't have to be afraid of losing your job or finding another job. Or again, living paycheck to paycheck, because your real estate property give you enough to survive. That change mentally will happen. Then the second one is the independence, financial independence, which is pretty much living a good lifestyle, 1-2 vacations a year, having extra money to go to the movies, to buy clothes. And then the third is financial freedom, where you get enough money to live life the way you design it.
So there's no set number that somebody should have in their bank account. It's all individually put?
Absolutely, because some people are alone, right? Like they are young professional, let's say one person. Their expenses are going to be minimum. Then you have maybe a family with 2-3 kids. They might already have been a specific school district where they have to stay. So everybody's different on their expenses. Plus, I have students from Chicago, I have students from California, I have students from Florida. Different living cost amount, right? So a rent in California is not going to be the same as in Chicago. So I always teach them how to look at their lower number. I've even had people move, like pretty much giving up, let's say a downtown 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo for one person that they were paying $2,500, and moving in a studio where they were paying $1,000 to save for a year or 2 to be able to buy that 3-4 unit building where they will get to live for free or almost for free in year 1. And then, after a year or 2, be able to move to the next property.
So where can folks...
individual.
Mm-hmm. Where can folks find you? Where can they find out more information about your classes, your seminars?
So I will say they can find me on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, on my website, which is my name, LuminitaIspas.com. I have usually a list of seminars there, or contact me directly. Again, my information is all over the internet, because I'm also a real estate broker. So as a real estate broker, my phone number, my email are all online. If they just Google me, they will find me and contact me.
Think about it. You
Be
came
happy
to this country with $200 in your pocket, and look at you now. So you're living proof of what you're doing.
Oh, thank you very much. Again, it's fear, right? Fear of survival. And also wondering how I'm going to retire one day. Because 5 years after I came to this country, I was a single mom with 2 little kids. And I didn't want my kids to have to pay for my upkeep, when I was retiring. Because I realized United States has a different pension system than in my country where I came from Romania. And I think that was a blessing in disguise, because at 25 years old, I start looking at how I'm going to retire, something that I don't think a lot of 25 years old in America are looking to, because I think they think Social Security is going to take care of them. And Social Security was designed to cover at most a third of the expenses in the retirement. And this is one of the information, for example, in my seminar that I discover. Because my seminars are interactive, they're usually 2 hours. However, I had them a lot of times go 3-4 hours, because people get so involved, so interested that they keep asking questions. They don't want to leave. They want to keep talking, to design for themselves a structure and to create a plan, how to become financially free.
Lumi, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. The founder of Financial Freedom Seminars. We'll be right back with more BizTV right after this.